Hey y'all, thanks for checking out Euclid Mining. So I've been wanting to get into CPU mining for a while now, and I just really haven't pulled the trigger. But I'm watching a lot of videos online, watching a lot of stuff from Rapid Mining. If you haven't watched any of his videos on CPU mining, you're thinking about getting into it, what a wealth of information, a great guy, and just really digs down into it, shows you exactly what you need, and talks about all the different CPUs and parts that you may want to get into this space with. I've been watching a lot of his stuff. You know, he's got quite a farm. You can see just stacks of boards down here. And I've been wanting to get into this, but, I just really didn't, like I said, pull the trigger and get into this. So I started thinking, well, what's it going to cost me to get into this space? And then I started thinking, well, what hardware did I have on hand? And I started to notice that, you know what? I actually had a CPU that I could use for CPU mining. I had a Ryzen 5 3600. It was the CPU I used to build my very first board with. Most all the other rigs that I have are Intel chips, so I really can't do it with them. But the one now that I use for my gaming, recording, and everything else was that one. And I'm pointing at it like it's still here, but actually it's not. It's over here now. My test rig used to be over here, and I used that for all of my overclocking and just testing different cards. And it had 16 gigs of RAM, really good computer in itself. So all I did was just switch them over, a couple little updates, and I was ready to go. When I watched his videos, he's using the X470 board, and he's got a lot better CPUs than mine. A lot of sevens. I think he's got some nines in there now also. And those price tags really start to go up a little bit higher than I can really touch on just yet. But then I started thinking about, well, if I wanted to start a second rig, what could I do? Because this rig, I did have 16 gigs of RAM in it, and I really only need, I keep pointing over here. Now it's over here. I have 16 gigs of RAM in it. I really only need 8. So I do have more memory, so I'm good there. I do have several of these extra drives, so I'm good there. As far as power goes, I have a 700 watt now, but I've got a 1200 watt power supply, and I'm just going to hook it up with the ATX breakout board. They're all the HP server power supplies that I use. And I'm going to use the breakout board. I'm going to get a splitter because this has the ATX support on it, so I can hook this up to the motherboard. But what I do is I can just get a splitter on this, and I can hook up two different motherboards to it. With a 1200 watt power supply, it's going to be more than enough to run that. So I've got the power supply, I've got the hard drives, I've got the RAM. I'm virtually there. So all I really need to do is just buy another board and chip. Now I started looking at different stands, and this is the one that I decided to go with. This is one that Rabbit uses. If you see him, a lot of his pictures, you can see that they're all standing upright. And that's because he's using these vertical stands, which I think is a better option. You can put your board on your box that you got your motherboard from, but that's probably not the safest thing. You could put it in an open air frame, which is just fine, I'm sure. But then I was thinking about airflow and cooling. And, with the CPU being here exposed on the bottom, probably gives it just that little bit extra cooling. And I'm sure it does help with longevity of this. So I decided to go with the stands like Rabbit used. So I ordered two sets of these stands, pretty cheap, 10 bucks a piece. And I ordered two of them. So really all I need to do is get another board and chip, and I'll be really moving right along. When I look at profitability, we can see that, 16 cents for my Ryzen 5 3600. I was looking at some other chips like a Ryzen 9, and that's 60 cents. And that's a really nice number to see. Of course, I would love to get to that one, but the pricing is just a little bit higher than I've got pockets to go for. You figure it's going to be about another 100 bucks for a board. Like I said, I had all the other parts I was really going to need. But to drop another $375 or $400 on another chip, some of these, 345 brand new for $800. And most of these are pre-owned at this price. So, you are buying somebody else's problem. If there's any issues down the road, you're going to be kind of stuck with it. So spending 350 bucks on something that's used, I know we've been doing this with GPUs, most all of us buying buying used. So we've been dealing with that, but it's 350 bucks. We'll see. We'll see. I don't think I'm going to afford a brand new Ryzen 9, but nonetheless, I would love to get up to that point. Right now, to build my second rig, I am probably just going to go with another Ryzen 5 3600. Like I said, I think it's a great entry level chip to get with. And because I have all the other hardware, I could pretty much just turnkey get this straight up and running, and I'll be really happy with it. So I am excited to get the second one going. I've got this one running right now on NiceHash. It's doing just fine. It's on an open air frame rig right now, and it's nice and cool. I am using NiceHash, but I'm not a big fan of NiceHash. I'm not recommending NiceHash. They've had trouble in the past. But, you know, as soon as my profits start to come in, I'll be pulling them off, and then I really won't have to worry about that. So anyway, I'm happy to be in this space. I'm really just thankful that someone like Rapid Mining is out there leading the way and really just educating everybody on this, because it's been a tremendous help, and I'm just really grateful to be doing it. So anyway, I'd love to know if you're CPU mining. Drop that down below. What kind of board chip, if you're using a stand open air rig, or do you put yours on your box? You know, I'd love to see that all down below. I appreciate y'all checking in. If you want to subscribe to the channel, the button's gonna be right over there. If you watch any of my other videos, I'll have one right up over there. Again, thanks for checking in. I'll see y'all next time.